Blood Fury Orc racial was one of the rare racials that actually got buffed. Previously, when you activated Blood Fury, you also got anti-heal, but now they removed that, so orcs are pretty good. Now, trolls might be actually very underrated. Increase attack speed and casting speed. Plus, they have the Voodoo Shuffle. Okay, they have two best racials probably in the game. Reduce the duration of movement in parrying effects and attack speed or casting speed. Now, Night Elf Priest got nerfed the most. You know, they removed Elun's Grace, which was probably one of the best defensive spells in WoW TBC. Reduce the chance you will be hit by melee or ranged attacks by 20% for 15 seconds. This was the most insane spell ever. Now, Dwarves are actually still very good, because Dwarves Stone Form is really good counter against Death Knights, because you remove their diseases. Where is Stone Form? Remove all poison, diseases and bleed effects and increase your armor. It got nerfed, you know, it's not immunity anymore, but you just removed. But this is still such a good talent, especially because Death Knights is going to be very, very popular. Now, I'm also interested in Tauren Warrior, because you can, you know, let's say you play defensive warrior, you know, tank warrior. You can charge in, you can war stomp, and you can earth shock. WotLK talents. So let's see, bam. You see, you have Shockwave, so you can charge Shockwave into Warstomp, and this is like what, 6 seconds stun. Okay, this is probably really insane. Okay, humans are also gonna be very good, you know, because they have every man for himself, which is probably one of the best PvP racial you can get, you know. This probably takes your trinket slot or something like that, or trinket PvP slot. I'm not sure about that, but it's probably balanced in some way, you know. Quickness is on Night Elves, you know, reduce the chance that melee range attackers will hit you for 2%. This is actually very, very good, especially for tanks. Then next you have, let's see, Escape Artist is also really, really strong. Alone reduce the chance enemies have to deck you. Oh, these were pretty good for rogues actually. But yeah, my plan is basically go Blood Fury Orc for Bladestorm Burst. Or we go Troll or Dwarf Hunter, you know. That's probably my plan, so we'll see. But yeah, Trolls are actually looking very good, you know. Very, very good, you know. Trolls and Orc racials are one of the rare racials that actually got buffed in Wrath of the Lich King. Now, the only bad thing about the Bladestorm is the fact that it gets insanely countered by Disarm. Disarm is actually a really common crowd control in Wrath of the Lich King, like Shadow Priest, Rogue, Marksman Hunter, and more classes have Disarm, which is actually a pretty huge counter against Bladestorm, so you either have to bait it out, but if you just play around Blades, if you just put all your cooldowns into Bladestorm, it might get countered a lot. But it's not that bad, you know, even if they disarm you, I think you can still change the weapons and continue, or use the anti-disarm enchant too, maybe, so there are probably some counters to that. And actually the warriors have really good AoE, you know, the Thundering Clap actually got buffed, so, you know, a warrior tank is actually gonna be really, really fun, you know. Now, I still don't know if I should go like Dwarf or Orc warrior Bladestorm, you know, but actually Dwarf two-hand animation is actually really cool, so you just spin around, you know, every time you use your skill, so it looks like you're Bladestorming even when you are not. So, and yeah, Dwarf is a huge counter against Death Knights, so Dwarf Warrior might be actually very, very strong, and then we just go like Troll Hunter, you know, for good ratios. We'll see. I really like the experimenting. This is one of the things I wish the Blizzard will fix. You know, there are actually two things, you know, that the boosting characters and transferring your character on the different server would be way cheaper, so that allows people to experiment with different classes and builds way more easier, and it will you know, like force people, and I mean it will allow people to, you know, roll multiple characters and play the game more. And the second thing is the heirlooms. You know, the heirlooms are really, heirlooms destroyed low level PvP, because if you didn't have max level character, if you didn't have heirlooms at low or mid level PvP, you had no chances to compete with others, because heirlooms were so overpowered. And this is one of two things that I hope Blizzard will fix. Now the biggest question I still have is, can you use WotTBC mounts in Wrath of the Lich King? Like, probably not in northern area, you know? So it would be, you know, it would be even worth for me to grind those mounts like for weeks, and then, you know, in 1 year I wouldn't be even to be able to use them, you know? That's a good question.